What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got some live recorded trades and audio for you guys to review. We traded Roku, FENG, HUSN, and YY. You're going to be able to see all those trades caught in real time with real audio. And once again, we're looking at another 100% accuracy on the trading day. No trades or losers, no losers on any tickers. So there's really nothing more than you can wish for on a trading day to be 100% accurate with no losers. It's just beautiful. So with that being said, all the trades are coming up, so stay tuned. All right, guys, market is open. Trying to add short there on FENG. Couldn't get a fill. Try to add short again. Couldn't get a fill. Wow, look at the spread. Is that why? No, it was showing. Yeah, that was awkward. Yeah, it's showing 225 there on the bid with an ask of 250. I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, was trying to go short on all of that and just zero fills, no fills. So yeah, no trade there with that. HUSN starting to come back really strong. Adding long onto HUSN. All right. So first target has basically been met. Closing some shares. Only got 400 shares long. We'll look for it. Oh, yeah, that got smoked right there. Very interesting. So have most of my shares out. So it took off even more as we saw that harsh sell down. All right, so we practically ran up to the regression trend there on HUSN. I traded 2,000 shares long. We hit the first price target of that 322. We got smacked down really hard. So through that point could be the next kind of breaking up move for another trade. So again, HUSN through the regression trend of 322 and then through the pre-market high around 329 would be a break over some longer term resistance marks. So yeah, we'll see if that move ends up happening. So far, the volume on it's pretty strong. That really aggressive sell down candle does make me a bit nervous. So I do have a little hesitation here. But if we can get through the regression trend here, we should cause like a squeeze. Got a lot of buying volume coming in. So still have the 200 shares long. The goal is to get through 331. Okay, so 331 is going to be another kind of important level that should cause a squeeze. So we go through 331 there. And the reason I picked that 331 is if we look at the 4-hour long-term chart, you can see that's that yellow line. So that 331 price is that longer term, essentially longer term deviation mark. So I closed another 100 shares because why not? I've seen us go to that level and get smacked down. So when we go back and look at that 1 minute time frame, it's really that 331 price that's important to be through. And when I say through, I mean like over. You want to be over that mark and holding. A lot of sellers just piled in on that mark. So if a bunch of people just came in short off 331 and they don't break us below this previous green candle, it's possible we could be looking at a true squeeze off. So we'll see. It's only 100 shares I have for right now, so it doesn't really matter if it breaks down much. I mean, I guess it does, but you know. So the goal of this move on the long side would be to be back up and over the 321 mark. And of course, through 331 resistance. Sono is kind of curling up in a fashion that looks bullish, just an FYI. All right, so I closed out my position there on HUSN, all out. I don't trust it. There it goes, down, bang. All right, so all done with that trade with HUSN. So adding 500 shares, oh, that's a bad spread. Bad spread that I came in on that with. Wasn't even thinking about it. So added short YY to see if we could essentially snap this little consolidation and maybe pull back down towards a 50 moving average. And got a really bad fill, so I got to be careful with this. Starting to cover some shares there. Pretty much all of that trade. I took 400 off out of the 500. That little target down there is that orange line. So through that could be a bigger move. Covered another 25 shares. Trying to cover another 25 into that drop. All right, cover another 25. Only in 50 shares short now. So hopefully we could see that fade. But we met our first target there on YY, which was that little orange trend. So again, kind of consolidation here after a strong up move. Look for it to break. And then we hit that deviation mark. Now we want to see candles just basically flush below that point. If the green candles start coming up to reclaim that price, then it makes me a little bit more nervous. But for now, oh, beautiful. Bang. All right, took off. Well, try to take off another 25. No fill. Got my 25 shares out there on that attempt. So pretty much all done with that trade. Just holding 25 shares short for right now. That was a little questionable. Again, it was 500 shares, and I just got like the worst fill. Instantly down 120 bucks on the fill, which is it's actually impressive because my hotkeys are only set up for a 5-cent differential slippage. So the market makers would have had to essentially, I don't know, I have no idea how I got such a bad fill on that. Maybe I got to double check my hotkeys, but that didn't really make much sense. Well, let's think. Yeah, because I mean, let's think about it. 500 times by 0.05. That's only 25 bucks. Theoretically, I'd only be allowing myself for a 25-cent slippage there. Or sorry, $25 slippage. So however I got that, I don't even know. That didn't make sense to me. So I got some thinking to do about that. So yeah, I'm just going to hold these 25 shares for now. Let them basically do what they want. Keep fading. Won't mind. All right. So looking at YY here on the short, still holding 25 shares. If we look at this screen on the right, you're going to see we have a deviation mark here. That's why we're kind of hesitating. So as soon as we can get through 85.43, we should continue sliding. I mean, so far the momentum down on this does look strong still. We still have decent selling volume on YY coming down. I mean, honestly, I think we might do a small green candle here, but overall, I'd be looking to get YY even maybe down to this 83.50s. Through 83.50 should lead towards another snap, right? Because that's the 100 moving average there. So if the price can keep coming down, we get through the 100 moving average and through our deviation support of 83.46, we could see even another snap. This might even be going for a regression trend move, which is all the way down at 79. So far, it still looks heavy. So again, it's 25 shares. I'm just going to hold these until we either squeeze out, make a move, or I can justify not being in the trade anymore. I mean, yeah, if it gives me a good enough dip, I think I'll go long on Roku. I'll just let the shorts and whoever's pushing this down now have their say, and then I'll think about it. So far, that short is not breaking down, which makes me wonder if I should start grabbing some shares long. So I grabbed 100 shares long here on Roku. Something tells me this dip might not fade too much more, and we're going to try to pop back towards the highs. So just grabbed 100 because, again, we're starting very high in this move. Tried to take off 50 shares on top of that move, but was unable to get a fill. Yeah, that spread is always a challenge to work with. It's always around a 20, 30-cent spread. So, whoa, it's not what we wanted to do. So it's 100 shares. Risk down to nearest support would be about $300 now. So it took off 25 shares. We're going to try to take most off on that first initial green candle long. So sellers are coming in now. I'm anticipating the move will probably come down, maybe as low as 245.75 to even 244.64. And if that does end up happening, then I'll take a new position long down there for a bounce move. So might have to sit through a little bit of pain here with these 75 shares. Sono pull back down. It pretty much came down to where it should, but I think you could see Sono a little lower to 2164, and then through 2164, volatility will increase to the downside. So bought another 25 shares long on Roku as we've come into this first potential trend support. Still think we're going to fade down maybe towards the 245. Congrats to those going short so far, at least. So I'm currently in long 125 shares. So this is a situation where I'm averaging down this dip into what I believe is going to be our support bounce at 245. CBAT hit the scanner again, just an FYI. So I'm up to 200 shares long now with an average of 246.95. Now long 225 in this little dip. Still got some sellers holding it down though. We'd have to get back up and over the deviation on the right to create like a pop move, which is at 246.96. So the next deviation trend resistance is theoretically my average price. So even if we move back to it, I'll still basically be at a break even to small red. All right, so there goes the push back up. Again, it basically went to the 247 price. So this was the bounce that I was looking for. We're starting to do it. Just trying to take some shares off on the pop. Was unable to successfully get shares out with the spread and the way my hotkeys are set up to get a fill when we went back into a green trade. So that's the unfortunate part. And the sellers really came back in and hammered it down there. So let's see, average is 246. There we go. I really do not want to give me any fills. It's almost nearly impossible to take some off on this. Crazy. Yeah, I can't. That's garbage. Really can't get any excuse me, shares out on that push, even with light speed. It's the sad part. All right, down to 175 shares. Finally being able to get some out. All right, down to 100 shares long. Down to just 25 shares long. That was basically the hardest trade ever trying to get out. So, oh, that's the worst. So annoying when you can't get your shares out. When you want to get out, you're having a little mini heart attack during your trade. But there's the bounce, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully some of you guys got a piece of that. Now I'm just holding 25 shares long. And we'll just sit holding the 25 shares long now. So a lot of that trade was just understanding that the market was strong and just taking long positions down into what I believed would be our first bounce level. So as long as my average was near that blue line, so as soon as we would shift away from it, I'd start going green. So that was really the main goal of that, was to buy that dip to the point where my average price was fairly low, so that as soon as we started to get the green move back up, I should have been positive. That was the most stressful exit ever. It was so painful. You guys see me as like, oh, sell, nope, nope, sell, nope, 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 sell, nope, nope. And the funny thing is, I'm only trying to sell 25 shares, and all these candles have like, look at this. This candle had, 95,000 shares. This candle had 40,000, 30,000. It's like, dude, I'm only trying to sell 25 shares, right? It's just disgusting. So I got 150 shares short on FENG. Got 300 shares short now. 400 shares short. Really won't net a whole lot of anything. I need a big position on this, but it was really hard to get fills earlier, so might just have to slowly wiggle in a short here on this. So pretty much took most of the trade-off on that drop, because why not? That just made money. But like I said, that's the drop move that I was looking for, but I was only able to get in about 450 shares or so. So took most of that trade off, just made $16. It's not a whole lot, but again, it was challenging to get fills on that with big size. But I would be willing to maybe see another drop. So we have this rollover move. So we've gone up, and what I think we could see now is a little bounce back up, and then the market will try to roll one more time. So I might try to press in another short, like around somewhere in this 232 price, and see if we can't get the move to maybe fade break down to 218. We have yet to even touch the 223 mark. Just added another 200 shares short on FENG. Added another 200, so into 450 shares short. Now in 650 shares short, FENG, looking for this to snap the low of that previous green candle. Maybe have some buyers panic out down to 223 to arguably 220, and then I'll look to close at 650. Not going to add on the bottom of this red candle, because then I'll take my average, which was, I'll be averaging down into the move as I'm already profitable. So I don't want to average down here. I just want to see if we can snap down, and I'll take whatever money it provides. So far, it doesn't look like there's a ton of selling on these candles to really cause the down move. So might not happen on this one. Yeah, it looks like we might actually trend a little higher off this. We'll see. We need sellers to want to sell that down. Again, like I said, the targets on the downside for this move are probably around 219 to really only 223. Through that price would be awesome. I just don't think it's going to happen. So far, we don't even have enough people selling it to snap it down as the way it appears. There we go. Well, kind of. There they go. Now they're getting a little nervy. Covered 200 shares out of that move. Still would like to see it down to 223. Cover another 200 shares. We got 3 cents down till we hit the target of 223. Covered another 100. Covered another 100. We're basically on the target. Buy 25, buy 25, all out. All right, so all out of that short move. So shorted 2 times, ended up making 40 bucks on it. Wasn't really a whole lot, but hey, I'll take it. This is where if the price snaps 223, it turns into a bigger short. So this actually, I mean, I might have, whether I covered too soon or too late, it doesn't really bother me. But again, this is if we snap 223 here, that's where it's going to just go bang and tank out. I didn't think it would. I thought we'd actually hesitate here and not break down. There's the breakdown right there. So that would have been the nice bottom to cover into. But either way, I mean, I basically shorted twice, made 40 bucks in a matter of, I don't know, 10 minutes. So it's a good payday.